If one person's words can ruin your whole day, then your peace is still too fragile. If one delay can fill your mind with panic, then your mind is still being led by the world. Listen carefully, because this changes everything. Life is not going to become softer just because you are tired. People will still be careless, plans will still break, noise will still come, pressure will still knock on your door without warning. So the answer is not to beg life to be quieter. The answer is to build something inside you that does not shake so easily. That is real strength. That is real calm. Not the kind that only exists when the room is silent, but the kind that stays with you when everything gets loud. Stay with me, because most people never learn this. They think peace comes from control. It does not. It comes from training. It comes from repetition. It comes from the moment you stop asking the storm to leave and start learning how to stand in the middle of it without losing your breath, your judgment, or yourself. And once you understand this, you stop living like a leaf in the wind. You start living like the mountain, still, grounded, awake, hard to move, hard to break. And that is where your life begins to change. You are not disturbed only because the world is noisy. You are disturbed because your mind has been trained to answer every noise. One message arrives and your chest becomes tight. One silence from someone you care about and your thoughts run wild. One insult, one delay, one wrong look, and suddenly your peace disappears as if it never truly belonged to you. Be honest about that. If a stranger can change your breathing, if a memory can steal your sleep, if another person's mood can decide the quality of your whole day, then you are not calm yet. You are calm only when nothing touches you, and that is not calmness, that is comfort. Real calm is tested under pressure. It shows itself when someone misunderstands you and you do not rush to defend your image. It shows itself when anger rises and you do not throw that fire at the nearest person. It shows itself when fear enters the room and you do not hand it control. This is important, so hear it clearly. A calm mind is not proven in easy moments. It is proven in difficult ones. It is proven when life becomes heavy and you do not become heavier with it. That is the training. Not escape, not pretending, not smiling on the outside while a storm tears through you on the inside. Real calm is awareness in motion. It is the strength to stay present while the wave passes through your body without carrying away your mind. Most people wait for peace, as if peace is something the world will give them one day. They wait for the perfect morning, the perfect relationship, the perfect job, the perfect amount of money, the perfect apology from the past, the perfect explanation that finally makes the pain make sense. But life does not work that way. If your peace depends on perfect conditions, your peace will always arrive late. The world will not become gentle first. You must become steady first. The mountain does not ask the wind to be kind. It learns how to stand. Your mind right now is not simply choosing what it does. It is following what it has practiced. Every time you reacted fast, you trained reaction. Every time you worried for hours, you trained worry. Every time discomfort came and you ran to the phone, to food, to noise, to distraction, you trained escape. Every time you replayed an insult in your head, you trained suffering. Do not call that your personality. Call it what it is, conditioning. And what has been conditioned can be trained again. This is good news, but only if you are willing to accept responsibility, not blame, responsibility. Because blame keeps your power in the past, but responsibility puts your power back into your hands. That is where change starts. Not in a dramatic promise, not in a perfect plan, in one honest decision. In one moment where you stop saying this is just how I am and start saying this is what I have practiced and I can practice something better. The first lesson is simple, but it will save you from many useless battles. Do not believe every thought. A thought is not a command. A thought is not truth just because it is loud. A thought is not a prophecy just because it scares you. The mind can create fear while you are safe. It can create shame while you are learning. It can create anger while silence would help more than speaking. It can create doubt in the very moment you are growing. If you obey every thought, then you become a servant to noise inside your own head. So learn to watch the thought before you become the thought. When anger appears, say inside yourself, anger is here, but anger is not my master. When fear appears, say fear is here, but fear is not my future. When sadness appears, say sadness is here, but sadness is not my whole life. These words matter. They are not decoration. They create distance, and distance creates choice. Choice creates freedom. Without distance, you get dragged. With distance, you can decide. This is where strength begins, in the pause. Before you answer, breathe. Before you send the message, breathe. Before you judge, breathe. Before you make a decision from a wounded place, breathe. Do not underestimate that breath. It is small, but it is powerful. One slow breath can stop one foolish sentence, and one foolish sentence can damage trust, dignity, and years of effort. Remember that. Your breath is not weak. It is a rope thrown into the storm. Grab it. A trained person does not remove emotion. A trained person removes slavery to emotion. You can feel anger and still speak with respect. You can feel fear and still move forward. You can feel pain and still refuse to become cruel. You can feel disappointment and still act with dignity. That is not suppression. Suppression hides the fire until it burns the whole house later. Mastery sees the fire, contains it, and turns its heat into discipline. Now look at your daily life. You say you want peace, but from the first minutes of the morning, you feed your mind noise. Other people's opinions, other people's drama, other people's wins, other people's lives. Then you wonder why your inner world feels crowded. The first battle of the day is not against work or money or society. The first battle is against the impulse to abandon yourself before the day even begins. Do not touch the phone before you touch your breath. Do not enter the world before you enter yourself. Sit up, feel the body. Let your first breaths belong to you. This is not a tiny ritual. It is a declaration. It says, my mind will not be rented out before I am fully awake. If you give your first hour to distraction, do not be surprised when your whole day feels scattered. Calm needs boundaries. Boundaries with people, yes, but also boundaries with your habits. Say no to useless arguments. No to late-night overthinking. No to checking what hurts you. No to repeating stories that keep you weak. Some things do not deserve access to your mind. And this part matters more than most people admit. Some people will not like your calm. They benefited from your reactions. They knew exactly which button to press and exactly what kind of energy to pull from you. When you stop reacting, they may call you cold, distant, proud, strange, different. Let them talk. A person who loses control over you will often mistake your self-respect for arrogance. You do not need to explain your peace to those who only understood your chaos. But be careful here. Do not use calmness like a mask. Do not pretend to be peaceful while bitterness grows in secret. False calm is only delayed explosion. Real calm is honest. It can say, this hurt me without hatred. It can say no without guilt. It can ask for space without drama. It can leave a room without trying to punish everyone in it. Calmness is not silence at any cost. Calmness is right action without poison inside it. So when pressure comes, ask one clean question. What is the next correct action? Not the most dramatic action, not the action that proves you are right, not the action that gets attention, the next correct action. Sometimes it is silence, sometimes it is work, sometimes it is apology, sometimes it is walking away, sometimes it is rest, sometimes it is starting again with no applause, no audience, and no emotional reward. That is where real maturity begins, right there. When no one is clapping and you still choose what is clean, what is wise, and what protects your future instead of feeding your wound. A lot of suffering becomes stronger because you turn every moment into a story about yourself. Someone does not reply and the mind says, I am not important. Someone criticizes you and the mind says, I am failing. A plan changes and the mind says, Nothing ever works for me. Slow down. Reality is often wider than the wound you keep looking through. A calm mind does not run to the darkest meaning first. It asks better questions. Is this true? Do I know the full story? What else could this mean? What response protects my future instead of feeding my pain? These questions break old patterns. Old patterns want speed. Trigger, reaction, regret. Trigger, reaction, regret. Trigger, reaction, regret. But when awareness enters, space appears. And in that space, the old version of you loses some power while the trained version begins to speak. Your body is part of this training too. You cannot keep the body tense all day and demand a peaceful mind at night. Relax the jaw, drop the shoulders, unclench the hands, feel the feet, make the exhale longer. The body is always teaching the mind. If the body acts like danger is everywhere, the mind will search for danger everywhere. If the body learns steadiness, the mind slowly follows. So when conflict appears, do not begin with words. Begin with posture. Stand or sit like someone responsible for the energy they bring into the room. Keep your voice slower than your anger wants. Keep your eyes clear. Do not let your tongue run ahead of your wisdom. Many people lose power because they speak too fast. A few seconds of restraint can protect years of respect. Most people also run from discomfort the second it arrives. They scroll, eat, complain, blame, chase, overtalk, oversleep, or numb themselves in 100 small ways. Anything to avoid sitting with what is inside. But if you never sit with discomfort, then discomfort will always control you. Sit long enough to learn its nature. It rises, it changes, it passes. Anxiety is not forever. Anger is not forever. Shame is not forever. You are the space where these things appear, not the prison where they must stay. This does not mean you do nothing. It means you stop acting from panic. Stillness first, then action. If muddy water is shaken, it cannot become clear. Your mind works the same way. You shake it with fear, arguments, imagination, and old memories, then demand clarity from it. Stop shaking the bowl. Let the mud settle. When the mind becomes clearer, the next step becomes easier to see. This is where discipline enters. And discipline is not punishment. Discipline is protection. It protects your future from your moods. It protects your peace from your impulses. It protects your purpose from your excuses. Without discipline, every feeling becomes a king. With discipline, feelings become visitors. They may enter, but they do not rule the house. This is why small promises matter so much. Keep one promise to yourself today, and inner trust begins to return. Make it small, 10 minutes of silence, one walk, one clean meal, one honest conversation, 1 hour without distraction. Keep it, then keep another. Confidence does not come from imagining a stronger future. Confidence comes from evidence. Evidence that you do what you say. Many people are anxious not only because life is hard, but because deep down, they do not trust themselves anymore. They promised themselves they would stop, but they continued. They said they would begin, but they delayed. They said they would respect themselves, but they kept returning to what humiliated them. After enough broken inner promises, the mind becomes nervous around its own owner. So rebuild self-trust through kept promises, not dramatic speeches. The world will continue testing your weak points. If praise owns you, criticism will break you. If comfort owns you, difficulty will weaken you. If approval owns you, rejection will steer your choices. If the past owns you, the present will never feel free. Be honest. What owns your breathing? Whatever you cannot risk losing has power over your peace. Detachment does not mean you do not care. It means you care without becoming chained. Love deeply, but do not make another person the owner of your inner weather. Work fully, but do not make results the owner of your worth. Build your future, but do not let uncertainty rob this moment from you. Hold life with open hands. Closed fists get tired fast. You will lose things. People will change. Plans will fail. Seasons will end. Praise will fade. Bodies will age. Roles will disappear. The mind becomes chaotic when it demands permanence from a world built on change. Once you understand that everything moves, you stop clinging so violently. You appreciate more. You panic less. You love without trying to possess. You release without falling apart. And that is not weakness. That is maturity with breath in it. Be careful with speech. Words plant seeds. If you speak complaint all day, peace will not grow easily inside you. If you speak fear all day, courage will not grow strong. If you speak hatred all day, softness will not survive for long. Speak less, but speak cleaner. Let your words pass three gates. Is it true? Is it useful? Is it the right time? If not, silence may be wiser. Silence is not weakness. Sometimes silence cuts the chain between trigger and reaction. Sometimes silence protects dignity. Sometimes silence reveals foolishness without you joining it. But silence should not become cowardice either. If truth must be spoken, then speak it. Speak without poison. Speak without performance. Speak to clarify, not to dominate. Speak from the center, not from the wound. Also remember this: not every strong feeling deserves a strong action. Not every urgent thought is urgent truth. The nervous system can ring alarms for dangers that do not exist. Slow down. Ask what is real. Ask what is assumed. Ask what is useful. This single habit can save you from so many unnecessary wars. And your environment matters more than pride wants to admit. Everything you consume shapes the mind. The music, the videos, the conversations, the rooms, the routines, the accounts you follow, the people you keep close, the words you repeat to yourself in private. If you sit in noise all day, silence will feel strange. If you sit in complaint all day, gratitude will feel fake. So choose your inputs with care. You are feeding a fire. Feed it trash, and do not ask why the flame burns dirty. Feed it clean fuel, and the whole inner world begins to change. Some relationships are not truly relationships. They are emotional gyms where you keep lifting the same wound again and again. You argue, forgive without change, return, suffer, repeat, and call it loyalty. But repeating pain is not loyalty, it is attachment to a familiar injury. Sometimes calmness requires leaving the room, ending the cycle, lowering access, or refusing one more invitation to chaos. Peace is not always found by understanding people more. Sometimes it is found by allowing less disorder near you. Still, do not make the mistake of blaming everyone else for your unrest. That is another trap. Maybe they were wrong. Your reaction is still yours. Maybe life was unfair. Your training is still yours. Maybe the past hurt you deeply. The present still asks what you will build now. Responsibility is power returned to your hands. Blame says they made me this way. Responsibility says, now I train differently. Practice presence. When you eat, eat. When you walk, walk. When you listen, listen. When you work, work. A distracted mind lives everywhere except here, then wonders why life feels empty. Presence brings the mind back to one point. One point becomes power. Power becomes calm. Calm becomes clarity. Clarity becomes right action. If you cannot stay present in small moments, you will not stay calm in large ones. The battlefield only reveals the training. It does not create it. So train in ordinary moments. Train while washing your hands. Train while waiting in line. Train while listening to someone who is difficult. Train while doing simple work. The mind becomes steady through many small returns, not one heroic moment. That is the secret most people skip. There will be days when you fail, you will react, you will speak too fast, you will overthink, you will return to an old habit you promised to leave behind. When that happens, do not turn one mistake into an identity. Review it. What triggered you? What story did you believe? Where did the body tighten? What would have been wiser? Learn, adjust, continue. Shame wastes energy. Honest review creates growth. Do not hate yourself into peace. Self-hatred is still violence, even when it sounds disciplined. Speak to yourself like a strict but honorable teacher. Not, this is fine, keep collapsing. And not, you are worthless, stay down. Something better, something cleaner. This is not the standard. Stand up, begin again. Firmness without cruelty, compassion without excuses. That is the inner voice that builds a strong human being. And remember, calmness must survive success too, not only failure. Failure can shake you through shame. Success can shake you through pride. Praise can become a drug. Attention can inflate the ego. Achievement can quietly create fear of losing what you built. Stay centered. Accept praise, but do not live for it. Accept criticism, but do not die from it. Let both pass through clean hands. The deeper your calm grows, the more humble you must become. Do not use calmness to feel superior. The purpose of calm is not to look wise. The purpose is to become useful, clear, trustworthy, and free. Your family does not need your uncontrolled anger. Your work does not need your scattered mind. Your future does not need your excuses. Your body does not need constant alarm. Your heart does not need old poison. Your life needs a steady instrument. Become that instrument. Remove the dust of resentment. Remove the smoke of comparison. Remove the clutter of useless fear. Remove the sharp pieces of self-hatred. Do not expect peace in a room you never clean. And when people try to pull you into their storm, remember this line and remember it well. You do not have to attend every invitation to chaos. You can listen without absorbing. You can care without carrying everything. You can support without sacrificing your center. Compassion without boundaries becomes exhaustion. Boundaries without compassion become coldness. Hold both. Life will rarely give you perfect certainty before action. Move anyway. Courage is not the absence of trembling. Courage is taking the next step while the hands still shake. Calmness is not waiting for fear to disappear. Calmness is breathing deeply enough that fear no longer drives the vehicle. So the next time panic rises, do not say something is wrong with me. Say training has arrived. The next time anger rises, say training has arrived. The next time you feel ignored, delayed, rejected, embarrassed, or misunderstood, say training has arrived. This changes the whole relationship. The moment is no longer just suffering, it becomes practice, a doorway, a test that can make you stronger if you walk through it with awareness. One breath at a time, one pause at a time, one clean word at a time, one kept promise at a time, one refusal to betray yourself at a time. That is how peace becomes real. Not because nothing happens, but because everything can happen and you still know how to return. Return to the breath, return to the body, return to the truth, return to the next correct action. Return when you forget, return when you fall, return when you are tired, return when nobody sees. The path is not perfection. The path is returning until returning becomes your nature. There is a version of you beneath the noise that does not beg for peace. It stands, it breathes, it sees clearly. It does not chase every thought or wrestle every opinion. It does not let old pain write today's behavior. It is firm without cruelty, soft without weakness, focused without tension, quiet without fear. That version is not built by wishing, it is built by training. So begin now. Not when life becomes easier, not when people become fair, not when the past finally explains itself. Begin with this breath. Let it enter, let it leave. Let the body learn that you are here. Let the mind learn that it does not have to run. The world may stay loud, but you do not have to become loud inside it. Stand in the center of yourself. Guard the gate. Train the mind. Protect the breath. Let calm become not a mood, but the way you meet life.